Why do so many people start to fade after they hit 80? Even the ones who seemed sharp, active, and totally with it just a few years earlier. It's a question we don't ask enough. Most people chalk it up to genetics or luck, but the truth is that's only part of the picture. In this video, we're going to explore 5 surprising reasons, things most people overlook, that explain why so many older adults struggle to stay healthy and independent beyond 80. These aren't the typical factors like diet, smoking, or lack of exercise. These are deeper, more subtle forces that can sneak up on even the healthiest people. The good news? Once you understand these hidden roadblocks, you can do something about them, starting now. So if you've ever wondered what really gets in the way of aging well, and how to protect yourself or your loved ones, stick around. These 5 unexpected reasons could completely shift how you think about growing older and help you take charge of the decades ahead. Let's dive in. Reason 1, the disappearance of microsocial engagement. One of the first and most overlooked reasons many people struggle to stay healthy and vibrant after 80 is the quiet loss of something called microsocial engagement. These aren't the deep, emotional connections with family or close friends, though those are important too. Microsocial engagement refers to the small, everyday interactions that used to happen naturally. A quick hello to the mail carrier, a light chat with the grocery store clerk, a smile or wave to a neighbor walking by. These little moments might seem trivial, but they play a powerful role in regulating your nervous system, keeping your brain socially active, and reinforcing your sense of being connected to the world around you. But after 80, these touch points often start to disappear. Many older adults stop running errands themselves. They might rely on delivery services or family help instead. They avoid small talk because hearing becomes harder, or they stay indoors more often because of weather or mobility issues. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, these tiny interactions fade out of daily life. The problem is, when these moments go, something else fades too: vitality. Most people don't even notice it happening. They think they're simplifying, making life easier. But what's actually happening is a slow retreat from the low-level human connection that keeps the mind sharp, the mood lifted, and the body grounded in the present. I've known people in their 80s who stayed mentally sharp simply because they had a morning ritual of walking to the same cafe, saying hello to the same staff, and waving at familiar faces along the way. It wasn't about deep conversation. It was about rhythm, visibility, and engagement. That 5-minute routine provided structure, accountability, and, most importantly, the feeling of being seen. There's real biology behind this. The brain treats loneliness, both the intense kind and the subtle, creeping kind, as a form of chronic stress. It alters hormone levels, increases inflammation, lowers immunity, and shrinks the very brain networks responsible for memory, attention, and emotional balance. In short, it accelerates aging. So if you stop chatting with strangers, if you no longer go out just to be out, or if your days are missing those quick, casual exchanges that once punctuated life, you might be feeling the effects more than you realize. The fix? Reintroduce those small moments. Say hello. Ask the cashier how their day is going. Walk the block just to wave at someone. These tiny acts send a big message to your brain and your body. You're still here, you're still part of something, and that message may be one of the most powerful tools for aging well. Reason 2, overcautious inactivity. Another quiet reason many people struggle to thrive past 80 is something that often masquerades as wisdom: caution. Now, being careful isn't a bad thing, but there's a fine line between protecting yourself and retreating from life. And once that line is crossed, the consequences don't show up all at once. They build slowly over time. It usually starts with good intentions. Maybe you slipped once on a wet floor, or had a near fall getting out of the car. So you start making small adjustments: fewer walks, avoiding stairs, skipping the low cabinets, sitting instead of standing. Friends and family even cheer you on. Be careful, they say. Take it easy. And before you know it, you've built a life that's safer, but still. Here's the problem. When you stop moving, your body doesn't stay the same. It starts to weaken, not just in your muscles, but in your coordination, your balance, your inner stability. The human body isn't a machine that needs to be parked to last longer. It's more like a garden. If you stop tending to it, it doesn't just pause, it starts to decline. And one of the first places this shows, the core. Those deep muscles in your trunk do so much more than people realize. They help you stand, walk, lift, twist, even rise from a chair. If those muscles go unused, they begin to shrink. And when that happens, your balance falters. You wobble more. You feel less steady. And so, you move even less. The cycle deepens. I once knew a man named Walter, 82. He'd taken a short walk every evening until one rainy day, he slipped. No injury, just a scare. But that scare was enough. He stopped the walks, began sitting more. Within 6 months, he lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs felt weak. His balance suffered. His doctor warned him, but by then, the decline had momentum. Walter didn't stop because he was weak. He became weak because he stopped. Let me be clear, real risks matter. Using a cane, clearing walkways, installing handrails, those are smart. But there's a huge difference between managing risk and giving into fear. When fear drives your choices, the body begins to forget how to move altogether. So ask yourself, are you moving less because your body can't, or because you're afraid of what might happen? That question matters, because staying alive after 80 isn't just about avoiding danger. It's about continuing to engage with life. Even if you have to move more slowly, more cautiously, more deliberately, the key is to keep moving. Movement tells your body it's still needed. It keeps your systems online. It keeps your brain sharp. It keeps your spirit engaged. And if you're still here and finding value in this, drop a comment below with number 2 so I know you're watching. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss the rest of this series. Your support helps us keep sharing these insights that matter. Now let's keep going. Reason 3. Disrupted sleep cycles from irregular light exposure. Inside your body is a powerful internal clock, your circadian rhythm. It doesn't tick like a watch, but controls almost everything. Your sleep, your mood, your metabolism, your immune system, and even how your brain repairs itself at night. And as you age, especially after 80, this rhythm becomes much more sensitive to disruption. One of the biggest culprits? Irregular exposure to light. It might not seem like a big deal at first. Maybe you nap more during the day, especially in the afternoon. Maybe you stop going outside as much, especially in winter. Or maybe you spend your evenings under bright lights, watching TV, reading, or scrolling through your phone. These habits seem harmless, but together, they send mixed signals to your brain about when it's supposed to be awake and when it's time to wind down. Your body depends on natural light to keep its rhythm. Morning light, especially within the first hour of waking, tells your brain to wake up, energize, and focus. Darkness in the evening triggers the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you relax and fall into deep, restorative sleep. But when you don't get enough natural light during the day, or when your nights are lit up by artificial brightness, your brain starts to lose track of time, and the effects go beyond sleep. You might struggle to fall asleep, wake up in the middle of the night, or rise feeling groggy even after a full night in bed. You might feel mentally foggy or emotionally off. Over time, this lack of quality sleep and light-based regulation starts to wear on your immune system, your memory, and your mood. It can even raise the risk of cognitive decline. There's also vitamin D to consider. Your body produces it when your skin is exposed to sunlight, but after 80, your skin becomes less efficient at making it. That makes consistent outdoor exposure even more important. Without it, your bones weaken, your muscles lose tone, and your immune system falters. I remember talking with an 84-year-old woman named Helen who was feeling tired, unfocused, and low. Her lab results were fine, her medications hadn't changed, and nothing obvious was wrong. The breakthrough came when her doctor suggested something surprisingly simple. Sit near a sunny window for 20 minutes each morning and turn off all screens at least an hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved. So did her clarity. So did her outlook. It wasn't a new prescription. It was just light. So if you've been spending most of your time indoors, curtains drawn, with your nights filled with screens and overhead lighting. It's time to rethink that routine. Get outside in the morning, even for just 5 minutes on the porch. Let your skin and your eyes take in that daylight. In the evening, dim the lights. Turn off devices an hour before bed. Create a rhythm, because aging isn't just about wear and tear, it's also about disorder. When the body's systems fall out of sync, everything feels harder. But when you restore those natural rhythms, especially through light and sleep, you're telling your body, even at 85, we're still in sync, we're still running, we're still here. Ready for reason number 4? Let's keep going. Reason 4, emotional suppression from loss and isolation. By the time someone reaches their 80s, they've likely endured more loss than most younger people can fully grasp. A partner, a sibling, lifelong friends, perhaps even child. The world often responds with polite sympathy, but what rarely gets acknowledged is how those losses accumulate. Not just in memory, but in the body. What many older adults experience isn't just grief, it's emotional suppression. The slow, quiet habit of swallowing sorrow instead of expressing it. Of putting on a brave face because they feel like they should be used to it by now, or because there's no one left who truly understands the depth of their loss. But here's the truth, the body keeps the score. When emotions aren't processed, when pain goes unspoken, when tears are never shed, that weight doesn't disappear, it gets stored. And over time, that stored emotion shows up in subtle but powerful ways. The immune system weakens, digestion changes, sleep becomes restless, hormones shift, the nervous system gets stuck in a low-grade fight or flight mode. And the hardest part? It all happens silently. On the surface, everything might look okay, but beneath it, the body is carrying a quiet, chronic strain. If your posture has slumped a little, if your breathing feels tighter, if the joy in your voice is softened, there's a chance it's not just aging. It might be unspoken grief. I remember George, 86, who lost his wife of 60 years. He rarely cried, said he was fine, said it wasn't his way to dwell. But within a year, he stopped going to the senior center. He lost weight. He couldn't sleep, not because of a medical condition, but because his body was carrying a sorrow he never allowed himself to release. Here's what many people don't realize. Emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to be damaging. By the time it shows up physically, the connection isn't always obvious. But if you want to stay well after 80, not just physically functioning, but emotionally alive, you need emotional ventilation. You need a place for your sorrow to go. That might be a close friend, a journal, a faith practice, a support group, a therapist. What matters isn't the method, it's the release. Because what gets expressed can begin to heal. What stays buried only festers. If you've been holding something in, not because you want to, but because you didn't know where to put it, it's time to make space. Speak it, write it, share it. Not just for your heart's sake, but for your body's. Because the heart can only carry so much before it begins to quietly shut down. And if you want to keep going, really going, you have to let it feel, too. And if you're still here and finding this meaningful, comment number 4 below so I know you're watching. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next. These insights matter. You matter. Let's keep going. Reason 5, the gradual loss of daily purpose. One of the most overlooked reasons many people struggle to thrive past 80 isn't a medical condition. It's the quiet disappearance of daily purpose. Not a grand, world-changing purpose, but the small, grounding kind. The kind that gives your morning shape, your afternoon a task, and your evening a moment of reflection. Purpose doesn't have to be profound. It can be as simple as watering the plants before the sun gets too hot, feeding the neighborhood cat, writing a birthday card, straightening the books on the shelf. These acts may seem small, but they carry weight. They create momentum. They remind your body and mind that you're still needed. But when those routines begin to fade, when there's nowhere you have to be, no one you're expected to see, no role to fill, it starts to wear on you. Slowly, quietly, days blend together. Meals lose their appeal. Movement becomes optional. And underneath it all, your body, without realizing it, starts to slow down. Not because it's incapable, but because it's waiting for a reason to engage again. It often happens subtly. Maybe a club you love disbands. Maybe your weekly lunch with friends fades away. Maybe your children get busier, or your energy isn't quite what it was. You tell yourself it's just part of aging. But inside, you might feel it, that creeping sense of invisibility, of drifting through days instead of living them. I once knew a woman named Ruth, 88, who radiated energy despite age and health setbacks. She didn't have a big social circle or perfect mobility, but what she did have was purpose. Every Monday, she wrote postcards to people who were homebound. Thursdays, she cooked soup and froze it for a shelter. And every afternoon, like clockwork, she sat by her window to wave to the kids walking home from school. She knew their names. They smiled back. That small ritual, it kept her connected. It gave her days texture. And that was everything. Because here's the truth. The body stays alive when it believes it's needed. That sense of purpose, no matter how modest, is what tells your cells to keep working, your heart to keep beating, your brain to stay sharp. When the world no longer feels like it needs you, something inside begins to fade. That's why people who live well beyond 80 usually have something anchoring them. A pet to care for, a journal to write in, a plant to water, a morning ritual, a prayer, a call they never miss. It's not the size of the task, it's the consistency. It's the feeling that when you open your eyes in the morning, something is waiting for you. So if lately your days have felt flat, if your routines have slipped away, if you've been feeling adrift, it's not just a mood. It's a message. Your body is asking for rhythm, for connection, for meaning. It's asking to be needed again. Because staying alive isn't just about surviving, it's about wanting to, and that quiet desire to keep going, to still belong, to still make a mark. That's the real fuel of longevity. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments by writing number 5. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do that now and turn on the bell for more insights like this. You never know who it might help or how it might change the way you age. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with something simple but powerful. Most people don't fade after 80 because of one big event. It's not usually the diagnosis or the fall or even the number on a birthday cake. It's the quiet erosion of everyday things, movement, light, expression, purpose, connection. It's a gradual drift, not a sudden stop. But here's the hope in that truth. If something fades slowly, it can also be rebuilt slowly. You don't need to overhaul your life to start feeling more alive. Sometimes, all it takes is one small step, a few minutes outside in the morning light, one stretch before you make your coffee, one honest conversation with someone you trust, one reason to get up tomorrow. These small acts are not small at all. They're signals to your body and mind. We're still here, and we're still in motion. So think back over the 5 quiet reasons we talked about. 1. Nutritional shortcuts. 2. Overcautious inactivity. 3. Disrupted sleep from irregular light. 4. Emotional suppression. 5. Loss of daily purpose. Which one caught you off guard? Which one made you pause and think, that might be me? And maybe more importantly, what's one small thing you're willing to do differently today? Because aging isn't just about what's happening to you. It's also about how you respond. You have more influence than you think. Not to stop the years from passing, but to shape how you experience each one. So thank you for spending this time with us. If you made it to the end, that already says something powerful about your curiosity, your self-awareness, and your desire to keep living with intention. We'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell us one thing that stuck with you and how you plan to put into action. Whether it's a small habit or a big shift, we're here cheering you on. And if this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder that it's never too late to start living a little fuller. See you in the next one. Keep going. You matter.